probably let yourself kind of feel it first before you start asking questions.
Oh, well, yeah, because I got to figure, I was just waiting on you to make sure you were cool with
I'm good.
going.
6 minutes later.
Just real quick, I'm feeling a little woozy right now.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
A little bit of a shock for a second. I will hop
all the way
over
down the
this. Yeah. Go down this hallway and it's the door.
Like, it to be a conversation and there's just a camera over the shoulder.
Accept that there's people that are going to be better than you at that specific thing. So I know there's going to be someone that's better at editing.
You know, and you could sit around and say, well, I haven't started on the main script because I'm waiting for it to be inspired, right? When you show up and you sit down and you go to your spot, the inspiration does come.
If I don't put my skin in the game, shed a bit of blood, how could I expect for the return I'm hoping for to be as severe as the sacrifice?
A lot of people will be like, I could never do, I have no idea how to do, and I didn't either, for the most part. It's just sitting down and taking the time to learn it once, and then when you do, it's like, oh my gosh.
Thank you, and welcome to another episode of Imitates Life with your host, me, Trip Fusco. Today's episode is a really unique and interesting one. The overall concept of this podcast is to interview artists and different creative people as they go through their creative processes. That's not always the case. Sometimes it's just a general interview, but this was a really cool one where I got to sit down and get a tattoo while discussing creativity with the tattoo artist. This is one of the first times where I have not actually known the artist before interviewing them. We had a brief introduction consultation of what I was kind of looking for, but ultimately I told them to run with what I gave them. Let's introduce Haley. Haley is an owner and operator of Inferno Ink in downtown Phoenix. She has a clothing brand. Their whole organization has a clothing brand called Ink Sluts. Not for sluts with ink, but people who are sluts for ink and tattoos. Super cool stuff, really cool designs. We get into the process of, finding out how hard it is to do something as simple as creating your own, it's not just making the shirts and designing the shirts. There's a lot more to it. So we talk about that. We talk about early years in her apprenticeship. We talk about a lot of the different aspects. She has a really cool body of work. I think one of the things she talks about is that she's kind of a jack of all trades and is always, diversifying her artwork. And it shows. I think the consistency of the technical skill is in her work, but it's really cool to see the body of work change and evolve as you go through things like her Instagram page. You can see that in the description below. But before I, talk your ear off, let's let you get into the conversation. One thing I do want to mention is that while I'm getting this tattoo, if you're a little squeamish about needles, obviously viewer discretion advisory here. I mistakenly said, let's just jump into it. And then 5 to 7 minutes into the interview, I had to ask us to stop because I started getting really woozy. It wasn't an overall or an overwhelming amount of pain, but what was interesting was despite where I was at and not feeling too much pain, my body still didn't understand what was happening, or my mind didn't understand what was happening to my body or why I was doing it. So it kind of started to go into shock and start to shut down to protect myself. And that was a very humbling moment for me to be like, hey, I'm so sorry to break this interview. I'm really woozy. I don't know what you do here, because I'm sure I'm not the first person. But they assured me, and I'll talk about it a little bit later when it happens. You'll see really quick here. Anyway, before anything else, just if you're interested in a tattoo, you should definitely check out Inferno Ink. They were amazing customer service, incredibly gracious hosts. They really wanted to make this work, so I really appreciated them doing that. They provided gear for me. I did not have the mics that I needed in order to do this properly, and they were like, oh, we actually might have some mics from what we do. And so there are some technical issues with this video because of me, not them. It's super cool that they were able to provide that. And again, check out their clothing line, check out their tattoo shop, DM them, check out Inferno Ink. Like I said, I can't give them enough praises. They were fantastic. And please enjoy what ultimately was an incredible conversation. I was not able to witness it firsthand. I was a little bit on autopilot for a lot of it. However, watching it in the edit, I couldn't help but see how magical it was and how wonderful Haley did on camera. Please enjoy this episode. If you're listening, there are some elements that maybe are best visual. I'm sorry about that. That's just how this podcast works. But we appreciate you listening anyway. Please make sure to like, subscribe, follow. Thank you again for joining us, and enjoy.
So yeah, I think just like the first part I want to know about you as an artist is, you know, how you kind of got into this. I know we talked about this before, but there's a camera here now, so.
So I always wanted to be a tattoo artist, and I started off young. I was like, this is what I want to do, and then everyone kind of was like, you should probably not do that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's more of a hobby thing. They didn't really understand it as a career. It's also more of like it's a scary thing to jump into, you know?
I mean,
Back then,
anything
it was a bunch
is.
of like gangsters that were teaching, old hazing guys.
Yeah.
Back then is like 5 years ago, but still.
Well, yeah, and I feel like there's probably a lot of.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see how this goes. I mean.
So usually most people are like, oh, it's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
It would be, you know.
We'll see.
But,
Oh, that's fine.
yeah. So yeah, I always did art as a child.
Yeah.
I kind of took a few more like drawing classes when I was in high school and stuff, and then I did understand that I didn't really have like the setup I need to do an apprenticeship. It's like unpaid. You know, you spend 40 plus hours a week there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was like, I can't really afford to do it at the moment. So I worked some regular jobs for a little bit, and then I one day saw an opportunity online with someone, like one of my artists that used to tattoo me, and he was like, I need a piercer. And at the time I was piercing at my house.
Yeah.
Not professionally, don't recommend, but...
Don't recommend someone get that, or don't recommend starting that way?
I did my friends and like myself, and that was about it. But
Yeah, I mean,
I did a lot of research to get there, so I was like, I kind of like told him, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll do it. And he's like, okay, and I kind of got my in there.
yeah.
So then I was like, I want to learn how to tattoo, and he was like, I'll teach you. And I kind of just was there for the first few years of my time as an artist, and it was an experience. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, the way I am with like older generation tattoo artists is a little bit different, and you kind of just have to keep your head down and do what you're told for a while.
Yeah, I mean, that's the name of the game with apprenticeships,
Yeah.
too.
There's obviously times where I was like, I should probably say something, and I just didn't want to disturb the peace for a while.
Yeah.
And then I met Leah, which is over there, and she's my co-owner with this place. And we did our apprenticeship pretty much together, and kind of were just like, we're over this guy.
Yeah. That happens. I mean,
So we took what he would teach us, and we taught us each other a lot as much as we can from like other outside sources and in the community. And then just decided we were like, let's do our own shop, because I'm like, really, it was my dream. I mean,
Yeah.
the goal, but our mentor we knew was going to be a little bit more like, he thinks he taught us and he owns us basically, so we were just like, it was a little disappointing, so we couldn't really tell him right away because we knew he would be like dramatic
Weird about it, yeah.
and like would kick us out or something, and it was like my only strain of income at that moment. So it took us about 2 years to finally find somewhere and then open it to our liking and stuff, because no one wanted to rent to us. We're young and women
Exactly,
and had
yeah.
no experience running a business, so we had to buy a place. And
Damn.
Yeah, we
That's pretty
remodeled
impressive.
This place. Yeah, it was bright orange in here and yellow.
Oh.
And it was kind of a mess of a building, but we had a good time.
So tell me a little bit about that, like the 2 years of like anxiously waiting this step that you're both like nervous about, but
Yeah.
also like.
So we kind of just decided we were going to do it, and I did like lock in on the research. And then we did a lot of like searching for places. I mean, also working 40 plus hours as tattooing at the other shop.
Right.
So when we had any spare time in mornings before work, we would just go together, look at viewing places, try to talk to people, and learned all about what it takes to kind of like even get in here.
Yeah.
And when like renting wasn't going our way, yeah, we found a realtor that was like, okay, here's our buying options, and we accidentally came into this place because they showed us the next door place, and we were just like, I think this is the one we want to see. So, and then yeah, we went with this one, and then it took a lot of process to get like paperwork and stuff done, and prove that we had income as like someone who doesn't really have like proof of income as a tattoo artist. You don't get W-2s or anything.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily consistent, which is what they're looking for.
Yeah, so you're just, and then yeah, it was a task, but we did it with high spirits, so that was good. We don't hate each other mostly. But
that's good to hear.
Yeah, right. And so yeah, then we spent the next few months kind of like redecorating and making the floor level and painting and contractors, and
yeah,
it was kind of scary in here, especially like 2 young women in the middle of downtown Phoenix by themselves.
Yeah.
Well, our parents were scared a little bit. They're a little nervous, but I think we've been doing okay. We did open a little bit earlier than intended because our boss did find out.
Yeah,
like from
it's bound to happen at some point, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, one of our not friends anymore kind of went above us and went and told on us, basically. And it did happen the way we thought it was going to happen. We got like kind of like locked out of the shop, so we had to go and like find a key to it, the new keys, and then get in. And even the cops were like, they called the cops on us.
Oh wow.
And then they were like, it's all their stuff. They were like, legally they work here, they're allowed to get their stuff. And we kind of just packed our stuff in a U-Haul, came in here. We had to move our appointments immediately, so we were like tattooing with like this room was fine, but like we still had like that wall was like broken down, so we had like 2 people in here, just us, no TVs.
Just real quick, I'm feeling a little woozy right now.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what you want to do.
Let me get you some candy. A little bit of a shock for a second.
Oh, I'm sure. I just like felt it like start. Like,
yeah, it happened.
And I was like, is this in a lot of
I have like a little fan too if you get hot.
Oh, I'm very warm.
Yeah.
So you get the police involved.
You're gonna keep going right now?
Oh yeah. And
so they kind of come in and then, well, they get the guy lives like 45 minutes from the shop, so he was on his way apparently because the alarm triggered, because he changed all the alarm passwords. And then they called the cops because the alarm triggered it, and then the guys that pretty much held the door while we packed our stuff, and was just like, then he came in all hot-headed, like, and we kind of left right as he showed up, so we haven't talked to him since. Kind of left. I tried texting him because like he texted me and he was like, do you have something to tell me? And I was like, yeah. I mean, we were obviously waiting for a little bit, and we would give you like 1 to 2 weeks notice if you would like it. And he was like, no, like F you, blah blah. So I'm just like, okay. So we pack our stuff and leave and start here, and it's been almost 2 years now.
damn.
But so we're going on pretty strong. It was just like a few of us and other people from the shop wanted to go with us too, because he wasn't really a nice guy to be around all the time. But that's kind of where we went off to, and then she does a lot of the social media and stuff, so we spent a lot of time doing that and helping build our credibility, but that takes a while.
That's how I found y'all.
Yeah, TikTok.
I had the idea of doing this, and I looked up, TattooArtist Phoenix, and she popped up.
Yeah, she does really well in the marketing department.
Well, yeah, and it was cool to see because I found her at like 12,000 followers, and didn't get the nerve to ask anything until I was like 270 something, or something crazy. And I was like, I don't want this to feel like it's a clout chasing thing, because I really just want to get like artists in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to other tattoo artists, no response. And then I was like, okay, well, there's more than just one tattoo artist at the shop.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you coming on camera.
Yeah, I don't mind. I ain't got nothing better to do while we're sitting here. Sit here. I'm not going to tattoo until you're feeling better.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Usually what happens is you feel way better and then it doesn't happen again. I will help
all the way down on the right?
Yeah. go down this hallway and it's the door as soon as you get there. No, it's from that causes your whole body to overheat.
Oh, I'm sure.
We're still gonna wait a little bit, let you kind of
Yeah.
get better, but I mean,
I feel so.
A little hiccup, felt woozy, definitely. I'm told that it's happened to other people before. I think they're just being nice to me, but feel a lot better. Got a little water on the face, a little water on the back of the neck, always helps. And so we're gonna get back to it soon here.
you ready?
I think so.
Okay.
I feel a lot better.
Sometimes it comes in a second wave. We'll see.
I'm sure. We'll
but
see. I'll let you know if it does.
okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, usually
You start
first
to learn
time.
what you can grit your teeth through and what you can't.
Yeah, I also have like lidocaine spray, so if it tends to start hurting later in the day, we can use that bad boy as well. Okay.
Yeah, because it was definitely a sting, but it wasn't.
Oh yeah, it sucks.
I think it was more of the just the consistency of it. My body was, like you said, going into shock, freaking out.
Yeah, it's a little poisy at first.
Which is part of why I thought this was an interesting idea,
Mhm.
because you see all these people with tattoos and these people who don't.
And now
Not
you get a
every
real experience too.
Yeah.
Because I get a lot of people that are similar. They're like didn't know that this is pretty common to happen, and so they get really embarrassed. And I'm like, dude, I do this like once a week. I'm like, I'm literally stabbing with a needle. Of course, your body's gonna hate you. Like,
I'm adding ink to your body forever.
yeah, I'm like, if it didn't hurt, more people would get them. How do you feel about AI in the creative field?
It's a day by day for me.
Yeah.
I use it to like research stuff for this podcast thing I'm doing, and so it makes it easier to do stuff that I'm not good at, like research.
Yeah, that's what I hear a lot about too. Cause like I go back and forth because I like to use ChatGPT for like random facts, but like I end up arguing with it because it's wrong.
Yeah, well, because
it's just people at the end of the day. It's just
yeah.
And then people fear that we're all gonna lose our critical thinking skills, and I'm like, I think we've already there.
The people who use it that way.
Yeah.
We're already finding ways to lack critical.
Yeah, I was like, they probably didn't really understand it in the first place, and that's why they want a shortcut. And
yeah.
I definitely don't like it in the art field, just because all these people spend so much time being unique that it kind of takes it away from people. So
Yeah, no, and it's very interesting because a big part of what this podcast is about and what I'm trying to do with it is show people that like you don't have to be necessarily in positions where like yourself, where your whole life is. I mean, do you find this creative?
me,
Yeah, do you find this word creative?
yeah, I mean tattooing.
Yeah, well, because it's one of those things where I think it appears on the surface as very creative, but if someone comes in with like, hey, this is the exact thing I want,
So
then it's just technical, right?
there's a difference between tattoo artists and tattooers. Tattooers are people who can copy and paste, and because they're good at the art aspect, they understand it, but they have no creativeness to it. Most tattoo artists that I know, like, will never take anything that you send them and copy exactly that. The whole point of being unique and like being an artist individually, why no one can just go to anyone.
Yeah.
It's not really like, it's yes skill, but like how you like making the design is like the number one part. Because if you don't have a strong design, then it's gonna come out mediocre. And so, in designing, that's all new now that we can use computers, but people used to have to hand draw. And
Yeah.
like realism artists are a little funny because it is half copy and paste, but it's also a lot of collaging and figuring out like flow with the body.
I think what you created here, from what I gave you, is probably proof to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like I think there was a lot of speculation on your part where you're like, it doesn't seem like you really know what you want. You never said that, but
Well, no, it's more like a lot of people don't know the different type of styles, and they don't know what's gonna heal a long time. Like take a good amount of like look good later. So I always have to kind of be like, I know you want it like this, but I am like, this is not transfer from paper to tattoo easily,
yeah.
and it's not going to look good. It's not going to look good over time, stuff like that. So you have to kind of like work with what minimal things you give me, and be like, okay, now I have to get into your head and be like, what do you want? and I try to figure it out because some people...
obviously it's going to be with them forever, first of all.
Yeah, and you're like, I don't care what it looks like. I want you to care what it looks like. I mean, like,
Yeah,
I want it to be done
see me
well,
again.
right? Yeah. So I'm like, I want it to be done well. I just want them to be happy with it. And like, the only thing that you'll see, like, people taking off Pinterest and stuff, like, straight up, is hand drawn from like a family member or like little bird flowers or something like that. And even a lot of artists try to make those unique as they can. And then realism artists, I mean, you're basically copying as realistic as you can everything. Yeah. But I mean, it's about how you like make sleeve designs and stuff like that. Yeah. And that's what makes you like different.
Got it. Okay, so that's the difference between a tattooer and a tattoo artist. Mm-hmm. Which, you know, is good to know. And like, I think that's one of the things that people get lost in with creativity. Mm-hmm. Is they're like, okay, well, you know, like, I'm not wired that way, right?
Yeah.
You know?
So now that it's like, and that's why I think apprenticeships were so like hazed on back in the day, because a lot of people didn't want to teach people how to tattoo if they're not going to be like using it the way they're supposed to do. So it was kind of still is gate kept by a lot of people, because you don't want people at home tattooing and learning how to do it and then fucking up a bunch of people on their at home, and it's
affecting the industry at large as well.
It does affect the industry, but it also is like, now I have to fix that at a shop, and it's also like it's not clean, it's illegal at the end of the day, and it's just like, why risk it? And that I think that if you do want to actually do it, then you need to spend a lot of time on your art and get really good about that before you can even touch a machine.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and I've known people who literally just picked up drawing and learned in a year and are better than some of the people who've been doing it for 10.
So you got your start sketching, it sounds like drawing.
Yeah.
Tell me about that, like early years in your life when you started drawing and you realized you loved it. Or liked it, I guess.
Well, one of the stories I guess I hear a lot is my mom is always telling me, like, I know you were a little weird when you started putting like 3D and shadows on things. And then she's like, I'd watch you draw and I had no idea what it was. And then I turned back a few hours later and you create something. And she's like, you just see it differently. And I was like, I didn't know what she was talking about. I kind of just like was like, yeah, sure. But now I have like a little sister who does the same thing. She puts 3D shadows under things.
Yeah.
And my mom's like, I couldn't do that. And I didn't understand that people didn't think fully artistically and stuff. At the end of the day, it is a skill, but like that you can learn because it can be taught. There are like certain standards that art has, you know, like where like shadows go and still drawings and stuff like that. And everything is taught with a class, yes, but some people can just pick it up and kind of like mimic really easily.
Yeah.
I think tattooing is a lot of mimicking, honestly, but it's like...
Well, you have to have the visual sense of like visual or spatial awareness.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and I also like people who can just draw straight from their brain and stuff. A lot of people cannot do that. Even tattoo artists can't do that.
No,
especially like realism artists.
Talent to just... I think one of the more interesting and flashier ones is those people who paint in like 5 minutes. You know, they'll paint a portrait.
And that's crazy.
And it's like super cool, but it's also like, I think what people don't realize is that's just like, that in itself is a skill that they learned. And like, once you decide you like something, it's about putting in the hours to figure it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And
be good at it.
And there's a lot of people who get a little bit ahead of themselves and try to ask for apprenticeships. And then they hand me like portfolios that are like 3rd grade level, and I'm just like, someone told you that you were good and you went with it, and I was like, your mom doesn't count. Like, and I'm like, I don't agree with people getting too much like not support, but people being like when they're mid, I'm like, I want you to be like, here's what you can work on. You know, constructive criticism goes a long way, and if you can't take criticism, you're not going to be a very good artist, because there's always going to be someone who knows better or think they know better, especially like clients who are very specific. And
well, and it happens as well. Like I went to a coffee shop this morning, and I ordered, coffee. It said it was $4 on the board, and I'm guessing that was for a small. And then I was like, oh, let me get a cookie, and it was like $12, and I was like, I'm sorry.
You're like,
How did
why?
you jump from 4? Like, this is 3 times the price, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, and she kept saying the wrong order, and I was like, hey, I'm so sorry. I felt bad. But then she's like, oh, no, I have the right thing in. I just said the wrong thing. I'm sorry. I was like, okay, no worries.
And you're like, now I'm confused. Yeah.
But, like, it happens to people, you know, especially in situations where, like, I'd imagine not to the same extent, but, like, a mural artist or a commission artist, like a painter, would have a similar thing where it's like, well, this is going to be in my house, so I want it to be exactly what I want. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
you chose me.
I mean,
as the
it's
artist.
so hard tattooing other artists. I'll tell you that.
Oh.
Especially tattooing other tattoo artists because everyone is so different that, and everyone's going to be like, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? Well, I want it to be like this. It's in my head. I don't know how to tell you I want it that way. And I'm like, you want to draw it? You want to? And
You want to draw it, and we can scan it, and I
Yeah.
can put it on your leg.
so, like, I mean, I don't really tattoo a lot of artists outside of my shop recently. But I have a lot of people who consider themselves artists, like drawing-wise, or like digital artists and stuff.
Sure.
And so when
I'm
they
laughing because the photo I sent you, which I'll include in this video, but like of what I thought about. What I
oh
want.
yes, I love that. That was
And-
perfect though.
But
That
like,
helped.
I'm thinking of you talking about like a real artist, someone who draws, and like that was definitely on closer to 3rd grade level than it was.
Yeah. Well, I get some that are like not bad artists, or I've even tattooed like children's drawings on like parents.
Yeah.
But like they're adult children, so they're like, I want this on there, and I'm just like, damn, this is drawn with like pencil, and I was like, I'm not gonna add anything, and I was like, how do I kind of morph it into a tattoo?
Yeah.
It ends up working, but it's like if they're particular about what they want because they think it looks good, then they don't understand like sleeve design and stuff, which I don't expect anyone to.
Yeah.
But if I'm like, I recommend doing this, sometimes they're like, no, I want it exactly like this. And I'm like, okay, we will do that. And then sometimes I'm just like, just don't tell anyone who did it because I don't want my name on it. And it always like technically looks good because of like it's done well in like tattoo ways, you know? Like there's no blown out lines.
Is there.
Yeah.
However, the
design is not mine, so I'm just kind of like,
I'm sure it'd be the same way between like your husband's like favorite job as an
Yeah.
electrician, something he put a lot of creative art and intention into.
Yeah, me and him
then
were so
there's,
funny.
like, something where it's just like we just need a light outside.
Yeah, literally, I'm like, I don't really know how it works, and he's just, well, let me tell you. And I'm like, okay. So there's definitely always going to be someone who thinks they know exactly what they want, know better, and I'm okay with that. A lot of like older generation too are very funny because they don't want it to be showing and they want it to be really small, and I'm like, I hate to break it to you, but it can't be small. Like I can't make it physically that small. They're like, but here's an AI photo of it like super small, and I'm like, okay.
Okay. Let's let.
I was like, I don't even think I have a needle that small. And I'm like, and even if I could make it that small, I'm like, I don't think you understand that like ink doesn't dry. It's always gonna be like wet underneath the skin, not to freak you out. It's kind of gross, but.
You know what?
It does. It never dries, so that's why it's constantly kind of like, when you see older tattoos, they spread apart a little bit. So my job.
That was a fear of mine. I've been hitting the gym really hard, and it's showing up.
It doesn't necessarily do that. Like I say, when it like stretch, unless you went from like this size to like this size. Yes,
I'm totally kidding.
No, it does. It does do that. But I mean, I'm talking about like the ink, like in each line spreads apart. So if you don't give yourself as an artist like room, that's why it heals bad. And so in 10, 20 years, it's going to heal just fine. It's not going to look blurry. And that's why a lot of like traditional artists still do traditional because they think it holds up better.
Yeah.
Compared to like the realism they were doing, which I understand that it does hold up okay, but I don't have a problem with realism. I think it's going to hold quite fine.
And I'm going to be honest, I was pretty nervous on the way here.
Yeah?
Because, like I said, I was telling someone recently when I was like 12 or 13, I said, the day I turn 18, I'm going to, go skydiving and get a tattoo, and I've done none of those things. And the thing for the tattoo was like, I just never kind of could settle on something.
Yeah.
And then
Fear of maybe having a regret is what stops a lot of people.
yeah, and then this idea had been bouncing around in my head for months, and I was like, well, if it's there that long in my head, I mean, I might as well just keep it forever, right? do you find that there's any kind of use for AI that you like? Because you said you use ChatGPT, but like for how it helps you in your job?
I don't really use it for like art purposes, but I'll use it for if I have questions like that the internet doesn't give me straightforward. Like I use it to kind of like help me figure out how to make an LLC. Stuff like that. I'll use the internet, and
no one makes it easy. No one easily explains how an LLC works.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, so it does help me with like research and like stuff like that, or
this looks so cool.
I don't know, maybe some like content ideas or something. But I don't really do content very much as I should.
You also do like a random generator where it's like, oh, describe a random tattoo, and then you all do a different rendition of it.
Yeah, I think we've done that once.
Okay, maybe that's where I got the idea.
Maybe. I mean, no, it's pretty popular.
Is it?
Yeah.
Look at me. I mean, I'm getting a basic tattoo.
I don't think it's very basic.
No, but
very good. A lot of people in Arizona do. Yeah.
She's like a classic dude getting a thigh tattoo.
I literally tattooed him yesterday. It was first tattoo, same placement, and he was like, "Gotta get my slutty little tattoo," and I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's the slutty tattoo." I was like, "Is it?"
Okay, so you hadn't heard that before then. I have,
and I know. And he was just a funny guy, and he was just like, "Yeah, I'm embracing it." I was like, "Okay." It is a common thing, I guess. I don't really. I tattoo everyone.
I'm embracing it too. Like it's my body, right? It's my tattoo.
You gotta get the short inseam shorts now.
I mean,
I think that's why it makes. There. Yeah, I think that's why people say it's slutty, and I was like, nah.
I was already doing it. Someone in college, like probably 9 years ago now, someone I had hung out with a couple of times saw me playing basketball in some shorter shorts, and they were like, "True, pretty good." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I need to show off my quads for the rest of my life."
Yeah, you get one man complimenting you, and you're just like, "Wow."
Oh, it was a girl. It was a higher value compliment.
I love gym bros, like talking to other gym bros. And I was like, "Wow, you guys gonna kiss?"
Oh, it's so funny how many times you get those allegations when you find your guy. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just some kind of.
If you're not a little gay, then it's not a good relationship.
Yeah. But okay, getting back.
Sorry.
No, this has been a great conversation.
It always goes this way with me.
It always goes into guys.
It's always guys kissing. Yes.
When you do get into something like this, like we talked about how you generally start talking with the person and you talk the whole time. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you feel yourself like getting into flow state a lot of the time?
Yeah, it really depends too. Sometimes. If someone's like super anxious and like not speaking, like I definitely can feel their like anxiety through them. So it makes me even kind of be like, oh shit, like I feel like hot and I'm just like, you're nervous, you're making me uncomfortable. But I just kind of just like lock in. I guess if they don't want to talk, I'll listen to music or talk to the neighboring people, and I don't really care. Yeah. Some people even will tell me just like I'm not gonna talk. I'm like okay, and they'll put their headphones on because it helps them concentrate. I be yapping sometimes, so if I get the vibe that you'll talk back to me, I will say out of pocket stuff. Usually,
Was there ever like a best tattoo experience? Like giving someone a tattoo, like maybe you're laughing the whole time, or?
I mean, I try to laugh and make people laugh as much as I can. Just because that's just like my personality is, I just will say things out loud. I probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had some really good ones. I've had some really weird ones. The guy yesterday, we had a really good vibe. First tattoo, didn't know him, and I was kind of scared he was gonna be like an asshole.
Yeah.
But
I think those are the best case scenarios. Is when you think someone you see someone, you size them up, you experienced enough people to kind of get a vibe.
Mm-hmm. Just based on like how he like look at things, I'm like, but then he just said something crazy the first time we sat down. I was like, wow, we're gonna be best friends. Yeah, and usually I try to make friends with a lot of people that I don't think I would ever like actually be friends with.
Yeah.
Because like I end up tattooing people on the other difference of the career paths, and I'm like, wow, we actually have a lot in common.
Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm. So and I'm like, I get on with almost everyone, unless they're like bad people.
Yeah.
And
they're out there.
Yeah. a lot of my really sweet clients are like big, scary dudes covered in face tats. Like, yeah, this one guy, he definitely like gangster. I tattoo his face like every time he comes in, so he's got them all over.
Yeah.
And he brings me Starburst, and he like individually like pokes them out, and he's like here, big dude. Like, and I'm just like, wow,
That's
you
so sweet.
really love me. And he's
I
just
think
like,
that's generally the case as moderately large. Yeah, I've recently been humbled with just like meeting people who like make me feel like I'm 5'2".
yeah,
But it's funny because people expect me to some people expect me to be this mean off like person. Other people, expect me to like be this person who fights for them.
broski, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, no, like tell me about like what your creative pursuit is.
You're just like, so what was your dreams about yesterday?
Exactly. Or like, oh, what's your star sign? Oh, what's your rising?
Yeah, and then I understand that. We get a lot of different stuff coming, just being like a woman-owned shop already, and I think the old stigma around tattoo shops were always like you got to be scary and hardcore, and it's still, some people still try to live up to that, and I've even met some clients, women and men, that are like, oh, I don't want to go to a shop that doesn't look scary, and I'm like, that's just old ways of thinking, but I understand. I'm like, you do whatever you want. I'm like, me personally, I base off art. So I will look at the art.
Yeah.
Not really the artist, like, shop. But I'm like, I wanted the space to be like more comfortable, I guess, and more accepting.
Yeah.
For everyone, because it's like the shop that we
also
were
kind of
in,
what you wish you had a little bit.
I was gonna say our shop was not fun to be around all the time.
I'm sorry to hear that, but
No,
I mean, it sounds like it made it.
Builds character.
Yeah, and like it
showed us what we didn't want.
Yeah, well, it showed you what you didn't want, but it showed you how much you wanted it.
Yeah, wanted to be something different. I understand that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, like you said, get a little bit more praise, maybe expect to be good at something, or expect.
Definitely held at a standard being younger too, and kind of just being able to pick it up faster is always a shock to people. And when you do something crazy, like when she does her pull legs to you, someone looks at her and is like, "You did that?" And it's just like, well.
Oh wow.
And she's
okay.
like, "Tee."
So like, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't expect this.
Little girl does big old scary stuff over there. So it's definitely kind of makes me think a little differently, but.
As far as like where you think you're at, like humility aside.
About what?
Your creative journey, where you're at in like, if there's a spectrum, like the beginning is the novice, the end is mastery.
Yeah, I still think I am like just right past beginning. I mean, I always think that you can learn more stuff. And
Wish I asked you that before you started tattooing me, but it's okay. I'm totally good. That's sarcasm.
Oh yeah, right. You're just like, I'm just like, actually, it's my first day. No, I mean, I just think that there's like so much more to learn, because like now that we have the opportunity to learn from like outside sources, it helps a lot, because there's a lot of different ways and things you can learn that is gate kept around.
Right.
With our like mentors and stuff, they were like, this is the only way, this is how you have to do it, and you pretty much can't argue with it, so you just do that, and then now
there's a lot of those people.
Yeah, and now we go to like shows, or we go out of state or something, and we meet other artists, and they are not as mean as everyone thinks they are.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually very nice, most
I feel like
of them.
most people are that way,
Yeah, I mean, it's just like you're taught to be kind of scared of other artists. You're not taught to them, and no one's gonna help you kind of vibe, So now that we meet like older people, that there are every once in a while some shitty ones, but people are be like, why would I teach you? You're my competition. We're like, at this age, we're not competing anymore. Like,
I think that's one of the funnier things, because it's like, well, if they're your competition, right, and someone goes for price, and they're cheaper because they're not just as good as you, then they're probably gonna get the job, and you're gonna lose business to them anyway.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't believe in going for the cheaper option. I don't believe in charging a shit ton if you can, because people trust you. I think that's still kind of shitty too. I'm like, charge what you think and keep it that way. Like obviously we spend 8 to 10 hours a day tattooing someone, and most of the time they don't have to come back, so you don't want to like charge nothing. But
right, that's a full day's work or half a day's work.
Yeah, and I'm like,
And if you're lucky, some of them will even provide the equipment you need to do your interview.
I was like, I don't know, I just don't, if you're in it for money, you're probably not a good tattoo artist.
So, on that note, do you think that you would have found a different, like, are there other things in your life you do creatively?
Yeah,
that you
I
feel
definitely
support your
think about this
life?
often because I was trying, clothes. I do make clothes. I make, I have a clothing line.
Okay.
We
You want
kind
to
of
talk about, you want to plug it?
Yeah.
So my 39, sorry.
39
it's growing.
followers.
It's growing.
Yeah, so I initially came up with Ink Sluts because we're sluts for ink. Okay, we're not sluts. And then we also have our Inferno thread line.
I got the thigh tattoo.
Yeah, little sled tattoos. That's exactly what it's for. It's great. And it's kind of like a streetwear brand, and kind of we hand draw all of our designs and stuff. And we put them on t-shirts, and, you know, it took us forever to kind of, like, figure out how that works without having an in as well.
Yeah.
Because, let me tell you, online doesn't tell you shit. Like, I've ordered a bunch of different clothes thinking it was going to come out, and it was just, like, thin, gross stuff.
No, and you can't feel the garment.
Yep. And then you try to, like, hand do it. And we even had a place where we can screen print ourselves, and that was just a whole lot of mess, too. It was really fun, but exhausting.
Well, and that's the thing, is that you get into because, like, when you add the curveball of sustaining it, right, and maybe even getting a profit from it, you have to figure out, like, what the...
Yeah, to, like, mass print and stuff, you need, like, a connection with something that's, like, good. Because I wanted my product to be, like, not shitty, and still being able to, like, I decided I wanted to, like, drop ship and, like, send to other cities without, like, I don't know. So it took us a while to do that, and then we kind of did a drop or two. And then once we had opened the shop, we had a little bit more consistent people, and we had a place to put our clothes at.
Yeah.
So now we have them in here and online.
Have you designed any of the ones I can see within my line of sight? All of them?
Yeah, I mean, one of our other artists designed this one. Her name's Cece. Aaliyah did the back of that one, and that one I did, the brown and white one on the back. Medi helped me make a design for that one.
Okay.
This is the newer drop. We had an older drop that was a little bit
Oh, you're doing
different.
a drop by drop. That's cool.
Yeah, we do. We do, like, shorter ones now, because our first one I had, like, so many designs and too much clothes to order.
It's a funny thing, because, like, some people like the choice, you know?
Yeah. Well, and it actually took off more than I thought it was going to do, so at first I was like, oh, shit. Like, I didn't think this many people were going to, like, order online. And without very much media, people just like that I said slut, too. Like, it was just something new and in your face. Like, so now we do markets and stuff, and we're going to do a little bit more investment into it as well. Kind of figuring out what works best and what people like better.
Well, I think that's one of the biggest things I found in this process that I'm doing, interviewing artists and creative people, is, like, most of the people are like, this is something I always wanted to do, or, you know, and then it was just hard getting started.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't do that first action.
It's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, and then sometimes you're just really disappointed. It makes you want to be like, nah, never mind, I'll give up and do it later. But
yeah,
we have something that we are pretty confident in. We have made some connections now with other, like, clothing people who are willing to share what they use, and, you know, obviously anything like that's going to take a little bit of money to invest in as well.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're thinking about it, be prepared to do so.
Well, and I think, it's a really inspiring story. What I got in my hyper narrow vision phase of, you know, you all deciding you wanted to step out on your own and do it, and just kind of, like, once you decided, you were like, let's figure out how this gets done. I think a lot of people are like, you know, I have this idea, or I want to do this thing, or the thing that really gets me is when people say, like, if I could do anything for the rest of my life, I would just paint. It's like, well, why aren't you painting as much as possible today?
Well, capitalism. Unfortunately, that's kind of where it was. So, I mean, making that first step to kind of get your apprenticeship already is, like, I spent, 50 hours a week. I lived an hour away.
Damn.
No AC in my car. I had to be there all day, not making any money, barely learning anything. He honestly didn't teach much. So it was just kind of me sitting in the shop, not making any money. And I was like, I somehow paid my rent and stuff from piercing, and I don't even know how to do that. Because
Isn't it funny when you look back on what you used to live off of, and you're just like, how did I even get by?
yeah, and I guess I just think that people tend to like lean towards my personality there, because I was like, we stuck out, you know, compared to like big grumpy old scary men. I was just like a ray of sunshine. And it's funny because I do look terrifying sometimes. Like, a lot of people say I look a little bit more unapproachable, especially when I'm like, because I'm 6 foot tall and tattooed and face tattoos and everything, and they're just like scared to talk to me. So I've been working on it, being a little bit more approachable, not having like a bitch face on all the time. So,
I'm sure it's helped you a lot too, and you don't even know.
yeah, I mean, I'm trying to market myself as much as I can. I always forget when I like talk to people in public. They're like, "Oh, they get tattoos." I'm like, "Yeah, me too." And I'm like, "Wait, I tattoo. Here you go. Here's a card." Actually, I was like, "They're like, where do you go?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's me."
To me, something funny that happens to a lot of like camera people or videographers, photographers, is people will be like, "Oh my gosh, that's a really nice camera. Your camera takes really nice photos." Do you ever get an extent where like, "Oh, that's a really nice like needle. It gets really good tattoos."
Most people don't really understand, like, recognize what we use. They're just like, a lot of people are like, "Your machine has a battery?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Because my other machine used to be bright pink too, and they're just like, "What is that?" And I was like, This is a rotary machine, and it's not the old loud coil machine.
Yeah.
Which I would love to use, but I was never properly taught to do that. And I'm not gonna be the one to try it on someone new.
Just like anyone want like a cheap tattoo where I just could mess it up at any point.
Yeah, so I'm waiting to find someone I trust that could be like, "Can you teach me how to do this?" Like someone artist that already uses them.
Yeah.
Because I tried asking during apprenticeship, and he was like, "Wow, no," basically. And I was like, "Okay, you don't need to learn how to do this." So I was like, "Okay."
If you had any advice to give yourself on those hour-long drives, on those 58-hour weeks, like, or just yourself as like a kid.
I mean, I kind of already was talking to myself. I was like, you know, every once in a while you just be like, "What am I doing? Why am I here?" Because like he'd say something like out of pocket and kind of like, especially like with like sexualized women or like probably a little racist there in there, and you're just sitting in that shop and you're like, low key now I feel like I'm affiliated, and I'm like, I don't want to be here. So I got a little snarky every once in a while. Like I kind of built this like relationship with him when I kind of did everything in that shop. You know, I kind of like helped him figure out like websites and social media, and I did a lot more than I needed to in there because it made me comfortable to have a nice shop to be in. But I also was like definitely kind of like not used, but like he didn't really understand that I was doing everything. So when I was like leaving, he was like, "Whoa, like you're basically owning the shop." And I'm like, "Yeah, I already like ran it, you know." So it's like having all that, and he was just kind of
when you started doing that stuff, did you feel like it was like the intention was that one day you would be doing your own shop and this was good experience, or was it just like, "Oh, this is what I'm doing because I'm doing it," and now you look back and you're like, "Thank God I have that experience"?
I did want to always have my own shop because that was the goal, but I also didn't know it was going to happen as fast as I did it. Yeah, I mean, we spent quite a few years there, and one day I think he just done said something crazy, and we got mad about it, and we looked at each other, we're like, "Fuck this, we want to go somewhere where we don't have to deal with this shit." And I was like, "I want to open my shop," and she was like, "I don't." And I was like, "Why?" And then one day she was like, "Yep, let's open it." And so we made a deal and kind of just like, you know, we'll figure it out together. And now we're bonded for life. I'm just kidding. Trauma bonded.
Yeah.
I tell her that. I'm like, "You can't leave because I'm all alone here."
We're all in. Real quick, you notice the shadow is going this way, the horse, but this is here.
So it's behind here, so I'm like, that's fine. But I can move the sun if you really want it to be that way.
Yeah, I mean, do you think?
Up to you, because I put all the shadows on this side, but I can put the sun if you want here, because like the initial design had it like this because it's kind of like in the middle, it's going out, and then these are like a front of it, but I can put it over here if you want to just kind of give that illusion that it's way over here.
Honestly, we
We
could
could
just
do.
do without the sun. Just
Sure.
don't do that.
Yeah, and just kind of do some clouds in
make
there.
it just seem like
Yeah,
it's
I want it to make sense to you too.
the
like,
clouds. Yeah, because I mean it
Yeah.
looks great. I was just like looking at it like wait.
which I was questioning it too when I was making the design, and I was like, this makes sense. But I was like referencing like 3 different designs with the sun in the middle, and they all did this, and I was like, okay,
Interesting.
so I'm just gonna try to understand that. But I was like thinking about like photography wise, and I was like saying the same thing, but I'm assuming it's higher.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
like because
Yeah.
also like how the sun works and like the photos I take. Like if it is
Yeah.
here, it's not like obviously it's not here.
It would
it's
be
also
kind of
going
like
this
out,
way.
yeah.
It goes everywhere and it like it hits when it hits the atmosphere,
Uh-huh.
it diffuses. So like yeah, so
Oh,
sorry.
it's okay.
To myself, I could have just
No, you didn't hit me that hard.
just
Frank.
destroyed my whole life.
It's funny. No,
yeah.
I did think about it. I did notice it, and I kind of
Oh,
just.
I believe it. And also,
Which I made it, like, when I was making the design, I was, like, flipping through, like, 10 different things to kind of, like, make sure that it was this way, and then still, I'd prefer you preference it, yeah.
I was just like, oh, maybe.
Something that you would notice forever, too.
Yeah, and then it's like one of those things where, like, no one else would notice.
No,
But-
they would just, then all of a sudden you're just like, but I don't want you to do that, too. I want you to like what's on you forever.
Get why I said something.
Good.
I like it so far. I mean, it looks so cool, and the shading, especially.
Right now we only have a little bit, too, like, a little bit of the shading. I'll go in and
Yeah,
put some, like,
you're gonna
details
go
in
in
there. But yeah, like I said, the landscapes are a lot of like random shade marks. Not much you can do to portray dirt when you're looking at it. That's always what I look at when I learned really quickly how to do landscapes because everyone wanted the like Arizona mountains and stuff, and or like cowboys, and I was like, gotta learn how to do this.
There's a lot of
Pretty
wrinkles
quickly.
and folds and texture.
Yeah, and I learned pretty quickly that it's all kind of like, doesn't have to be perfect. You kind of have to like put it where you think it will be, because if you're trying to like copy something directly with landscapes, you'll get way too into the details, and it'll just be like muddy.
So, do you have any kind of statement or anything that like helps you with like I have this.
Like a mantra?
I have this mantra that like focus on the top 2%. When I get too far in the weeds, I just remind myself, like, is this going towards the top 2%? How do you keep that mindset while you're going?
When I'm like tattooing, or just in general with like life and stuff.
I mean, that's
I'm like,
really good.
I don't know.
Let's say for when you're
When I'm tattooing.
tattooing, because how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah.
So it's probably.
I am always like trust the process, because I understand when I make like outline moves that some people look at that and they're like, what's that? And I'm like,
It's getting there.
please just wait. But I don't know. I mean, I won't do anything that I'm not confident in doing, I guess. Like, I won't try to like overstep and like take a bite out of it if I think it's not perfect. And so if someone comes in here with something crazy, I'll be like, recommend them to another artist if it's not something I want to do that I haven't like 100% mastered. But if I ever do feel weird about something, I don't know. I mean, that's pretty much it. Pain is temporary, swag is forever is what I tell you when you're like,
Sorry,
ow, that
pain is
hurts.
temporary what?
Swag is forever.
Swag is forever.
That's the
I heard
only
sweat.
thing I live by.
I
Sweat
heard
is
sweat.
also forever. So when they're like, that hurts, and I'm like, you want to look cool or not? It's pretty much how I get them to go through. So.
This is what looks back.
Yeah, I was like, slutty tattoos, yes. I was like, you wouldn't be here if you didn't want a slutty tattoo. And then they're like, okay, fine, you're right.
I mean, I think the artistry of it is just so interesting, because like I think a lot of like there's always humanity in art, but like tattooing is like there's literal humanity, as in like the canvas is like the human,
Which, and I see as that too. Like, a lot of people think their tattoos have to mean something, and
I've been there, and that's part of why I'm here now.
yeah, and I'm just like, if you want to do that, that's totally fine. But I'm like, the reason I get tattoos is because they look really cool. I was like, I love art. I like different styles of art, and I can appreciate different styles of art too. Even if sometimes the stuff I tattoo is not the stuff that I get tattooed. So it's like really funny to watch people's interest.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, I will say one of my things is like I learned how to do majority of styles just so I can give everything that to my clients. I'll be
Yeah.
like, you want this? Sure, I can do that. But other than that, I try to kind of show myself through my tattoos if I can,
Okay.
because that's kind of like what is like makes you. It's your brand basically. Your tattoos are your brand. So
Right.
if there's something that you can kind of be unique compared to other people. That's what I'm working on building still right now. Cause like I do trial and error, and I kind of like try to make something stick, and then people are like, it's very niche usually, and I'm like, damn, it really takes like a year or two to get even recognized that you do this, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then I also often get a lot of things that like my junior artists or like other artists don't specialize in, so I'm often doing things more complicated or like less creative in order to, just because they come in the door and they're like, I want this, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna turn you away, even if I don't like.
I think that's
Love it,
what
you
happened
know?
with the interview. I think they were just like, oh, well, you know, we have a couple options for people who would, you know, work well with that tattoo. And, you know, he's like, but, you know, Haley's the one who's cool with being on camera.
Yeah,
And I
I'm
was
like,
that's great, because her stuff's great. I saw that there was one where it's like, it was, I'm going to say it was like the Vitruvian Man, but it was like this Greek model.
oh, the
And
MicroRealism,
the golden ratio throughout.
yeah.
That was
that's
super cool. I was like, I have no problem.
Yeah,
with
I
Haley
really
doing
like
that
doing MicroRealism. I had to learn how to do that too because it became really, really popular. And it's just like minuscule. And you have to learn what not to shade too much as well on that.
That's the interesting thing is like when negative space is used. I
Yeah.
think because like you can always. I was talking to the last person I interviewed. He's getting into watercolors, and he's like, well, the thing that stinks about watercolors is like you can let the paint dry, and then you
Go
go
back
to wet
in.
it again, and like this, it just spreads again. Like it.
Yeah, and so that's why I use the negative space, and like understanding how it heals is way more important than how you know how to draw at the end of the day.
Okay.
Because it's like, if you can be a really good tattoo artist, but if your stuff doesn't heal long term, people aren't gonna respect you in the crowd. I mean, other artists are gonna basically laugh at you, and like other people who actually do their research on tattoo artists are gonna know that's like, well, 10 years down the road, someone's gonna be like, damn, who did your arm? Can't see what that is, you know. So you're constantly have walking people as your billboards, so make them look good long term.
Yeah.
Is the goal.
You want it to.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't want people to regret anything and come back and be like, damn, I really wish I did this. But there's a lot of uneducated people calling themselves artists nowadays with their private studios and stuff, which I totally support to an extent.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you're not fucking anyone up. There's a lot of people who still think you need to like earn it, which is like a big thing in the tattoo community, is like earning your spot.
Earning your keep, yeah.
Like getting hazed and stuff, which I was like, I don't necessarily agree with it. I do think you should get an apprenticeship and learn from someone who knows what they're doing to avoid the trial and error of fucking people up, because I don't think you should ever just try and not know what you're doing.
And that's the case with, like, I'm sure, just so many different things. I think a lot of people say to me things like, oh, like, you're pretty wise for your age or whatever. Not that I'm bragging about myself, because I am the least
You don't have to, like...
boastful person. Oh, this is for the camera, so that...
Yeah.
But, no, people will say, like, oh, you're so wise. It's just because, like, when people tell me things, I try to like, take it in, and, you know, people will share their experience with you, and, like, you don't want that to happen in vain. You want to, like, apply that to your life, your situation, and then...
Yeah, and people who don't, who just kind of, like, let it go above their head, is people who aren't ready to learn that they are themselves the problem.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it's like, when you're doing something wrong, you never want to hear someone tell you you're doing something wrong, so...
Yeah, no one likes that.
It's like, yeah, it's like an
earlier.
embarrassment, you know, to yourself. And
yeah, like you said earlier, if you're going to want to be a creative person in any capacity, you got to be able to take the criticism, you know?
Yeah, and we've had experience with that. I mean, especially people who are good at art, You know? Like, and then, so when you're good at art and you're not listening because you think you know better than we do, or like, I'm not, just because you tattoo, like, you draw differently doesn't mean you should tattoo differently. There's certain aspects that goes into tattooing and that don't go into paper drawings. And it's really hard to correct people who think they know the best.
Well, and I think that was one of the things, one of the main mindsets I was trying to come into this. As someone who has like a visual eye, I was like, I do not want to backseat drive this. Like, I want to, because I have an issue doing that from time to time, especially with video stuff. I'm a producer, and some of the people I work with as editors are like, dude, is this for the client or is this, you know, is this like, and I'm like, well, I think it's important. They're like, is it? And I'm like, you know, you're right, it's not. And so coming into this, I was like, I know this is going to be on me forever, but like part of what I'm doing is I've seen Haley's stuff. I trust that she's going to put me in a position to look good, because I would imagine that anyone who tattoos should have some vested interest in it, because the billboard analogy is perfect.
Yeah, I mean, there are people who tattoo for money, and they will just kind of do what, and then die on that hill. People will be like happy with it, and they'll be like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. And basically be like gaslighting you and be like, no, it's fine. And I'm like, I don't agree with that, because if I were to ever mess up a tattoo, I think I've only messed up one time when I was an apprentice, and I still haunts me. So I feel way too guilty about something like that to like not give a shit about it. So I don't know. I'm all for the art, and I think that caring about it is gonna help the artist along the way. If you're in just being like, I want to make money, then not here. It's the best way I can say that. I'm like, not gonna teach you if you don't have a good head on your shoulders, low key.
Yeah, this camera's about to die, so we'll kind of wrap up here.
Okay.
What advice would you give up-and-coming tattoo artists who might be interested but doesn't know where to start?
I honestly think they should learn have a good understanding of basic art skill. And that doesn't mean go on YouTube. I think spend a year or two, even more, honing your art and style is something I look for. You know, if you should always get an apprenticeship, and that means you need to build a portfolio, a strong portfolio that shows something that is unique or something that shows a really big skill. And if you throw together a bunch of things quickly, and like, I will notice it, because I know like big drawings honestly take a few days to draw. It shouldn't take a few hours. Yeah. And I'm like, if you're not willing to sit a few hours or a few days drawing, you're not probably going to do very well as a tattoo artist. Because that's a lot of things online are showing people to do like traditional stuff in their portfolios, because they think that's what people want to see. And I agree to an extent if you're going to a traditional shop.
Right.
But like, the best thing is don't go to just anywhere that will give you a job, because most of the time they want you as someone to clean up their shit and to kind of control. I think find someone that you like their art and you want to be very similar to them. Build your portfolio, practice a lot, more than you think. Like, you sit there every day, every second you can, and you practice.
Yeah.
And that's like, it really is all it is. It's just like how everything is. Practice makes perfect.
So practice, apprenticeship.
Really good portfolio.
Practice again, good portfolio.
Yeah, good portfolio, and then never stop caring about your art, really.
Never stop caring. I love that.
Hello. I am Haley. I'm the owner of Inferno Ink Tattoo in downtown Phoenix. I do a little bit of everything here, a little bit of realism, MicroRealism. I dabble in color. I co-own with Leah, if you've seen her on social media. Let's see, my Instagram handle, do you want to tag them?
I'll get that after. I can put it in you don't have to have this off the top.
It's like a clothing brand.
Just like,
That's pretty much it.